Hello, everybody. I hope that you are doing well today. It is 4:20, and I hope y'all are having fun. I received a couple really nice comments from my video yesterday, and I wanted to say thank you. And I have a question from JNicolexo7654, and I'm going to do a video and answer her question. So she wants to know how my mom died. Well, let's see, I was in my late 20s or early 30s when I cut contact with my mom and went like complete no contact, no nothing. She would send me letters and money and gifts and things, and I read the first few letters, and it was always abusive crap. And then I would mail back her money, or it was a check, so I would just rip up the check, and I never cashed any of them. And as the gifts she sent, I would give to other people. But the point of all of this is I had no contact with her, and it was about, I'm gonna say, 3 weeks before Mother's Day, the year she died. And I do not remember the year she died at this point. I do not know how long she's been gone. I'm sorry about that. It's been about 15 or 16 years. So about a week before Mother's Day, I got this weird feeling that said, you need to send your mom a Mother's Day card. And I'm like, send my mom a Mother's Day card? Why on earth would I do something like that? Like, I haven't talked to this woman in umpteen many years. Anyway, this feeling got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until finally, like the week before Mother's Day, I was like overwhelmed by this feeling, and it was like, I don't understand what the heck is going on. So I just said, screw it. Maybe this is the universe telling me that my mom is ready for a new relationship, or I don't know. So I sent her a Mother's Day card, and she ended up getting it. And apparently she told my brother, because my brother was also no contact with her for about a week before Mother's Day. They maintained contact, but they fought like all the time. So he happened to had like cut her out for like a week, and then he had just started re-talking to her when she said that she received the card from me, and that it just made her so happy. And she actually told him that she loved me so much and that she missed me. And it's kind of like weird, because my mom didn't love me, and she would tell me all the time she didn't love me. Anyway, so 2 days after that, she died. The Emmy says that she likely had a heart attack, and then as she was falling, because she was in her kitchen, as she was falling, she slammed the side of her head on her deep freezer and had a really bad subdermal hematoma. So the Emmy is pretty sure the heart attack killed her first, but there's also the possibility my mom who was very drunk, and when they did the autopsy, she was incredibly just wasted, and she had narcotics in her system because she was a drug addict as well. So there's a possibility that she was so drunk that she fell hit her head and then had the heart attack as she was laying there bleeding out. Those are the two possibilities, but the Emmy's pretty sure she had the heart attack and then fell and hit her head. She was not discovered to have died for about a week and a half. When the person that she owned the condo that she lived in, and there was a renter on the one side of her, and my mom had a dog, and the renter, I don't know why it took her a week and a half, but she called somebody to come and do a wellness check on my mom, because she hadn't seen her in like a week and a half, and her dog had been barking like nonstop for the week and a half. And she said there was a weird smell coming from the vent that was connected to the wall that they shared. And so they came out and do a wellness check, and they discovered my mother's body that had been laying there for a week and a half in the very hot heat. My mother did not have air conditioning, and there had been no fans running the entire time. So the entire house was scorching hot. And as you can imagine what the heat does to a body, especially after it's been there a week and a half, apparently it was not a sight to be seen. However, my brother got word, because the woman also contacted my brother after she contacted whoever they contacted for a wellness check, and my brother actually beat the people out there by like 5 minutes or something. So he had actually discovered my mother's body right before these people showed up, and he said it was a sight he's never going to forget. And he still has nightmares to this day, and like he won't even tell me. Like, I asked once what he saw because I was curious, but he's just like, I'm not going to tell you what I saw. I don't want to tell you what I saw. I want to forget what I saw. But my imagination can pretty much figure out what he saw. As for how I felt and reacted, so my father and brother called me, I think it was the next day after she was discovered, and they broke the news to me that my mom had died. And I just remember this absolute feeling of peace. Like, I was finally free. I didn't have to worry about her showing up at my house. I didn't have to worry about any more of her abusive letters or phone calls. I see, when I was a child, I believed completely that one day my mother was going to end up taking my life. And that is because she held a loaded gun to my head when I was 14, and threatened to kill me. And this went on for about 20 minutes of her holding this gun to my temple, and just screaming at me incoherently and telling me she was going to kill me. And then eventually she turned the gun on herself, said she was going to kill herself. And as you can see, she didn't do either, but she ended up just dropping the gun on the couch. And no, she didn't, I'm sorry, she ended up pushing me on the couch and took the gun with her. I don't know why I said that word, but anyway, she took the gun with her. I don't know where she went. She left in the car somewhere. She was gone for like a couple hours, and she came back and she was not herself, but also not as crazy as she was before she left. So anyway, I just believed that one day my mom would be responsible for my death. So when I heard that she had died, I had also felt that relief that my fear of her killing me wasn't going to come true. I also worried that she might kill my brother or my father, because she threatened all of us like a lot. And so I just, honestly, I just felt free. I felt safe. I felt like she can't hurt anybody anymore. And honestly, as awful as this sounds, I was happy. But I also, later on that evening, as I was processing everything and going through my emotions and my memories and stuff, I became overwhelmed with guilt, sorry. Guilt that I wasn't distraught over my mother being dead. Guilt over I wasn't crying because my mother was dead. I was guilty because my mother's biggest fear was to die by herself. And that's exactly what she did. She died by herself, estranged from her daughter, and she was temporarily estranged from her son, who had just started re-talking to her. And everybody else in the family also had stopped talking to her. And I think at the time, even her best friend wasn't talking to her, because my mother was just not a nice person. She was very narcissistic and very cruel and manipulative and evil. And I'm actually going to do a video on her within the next couple of days, diving into more details. But honestly, I did not at first have bad feelings. I did, like I said, I was feeling guilt for a little bit. And then I also had guilt because I was like, even though I tried for many, 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 many years to try to have a relationship with her, try to meet her halfway, try to understand that she was mentally ill and had her own problems, and I was trying to find a way to deal with her issues without letting them affect me so bad, and it was literally impossible to do that. And it wasn't just me that couldn't do that. Like, nobody could do that, because my mom just made everything so difficult. And just, my mother was very complicated, and my mom had a lot of issues. And since I've recently gone through a PTSD study, which was, well, I'm still currently in it. It lasts for 9 months. I'm like 6 months into it. I was dealing with a really good trauma counselor, which I already have. I have my current trauma counselor, but I also had this one through the study. And he helped me to see things that I have never noticed before. And it's a lot to talk about. But anyway, with his help, a lot of the guilt that I had was actually released recently within the last 6 months. Because he got me to open up and see the reality of everything, where my brain was saying, no, you need to feel guilty about this, you're a terrible daughter, or you know, blah blah blah. He was like, just the different things he said just reiterated that I was not the one that needed to feel guilty. I did what I had to do for my mental health. I tried multiple times to have a relationship with her. I tried my entire childhood to please her, to just get her to love me or even like me. And nothing I did or could do ever mattered. She was so jealous of me. She hated me because I was a very cute kid. And people would say all the time, well, your daughter is so beautiful. And, you know, and she wanted to be the one that was being told she was beautiful. So she did things to me as a child that took my beauty away. And I'm going to discuss those things also when I talk about my mother in this video. So she was just not a good person. Funeral. We still have yet to have a funeral. Well, my brother, because he lives in the state where she lived, there was a small funeral for him and the like 6 of her friends that decided to show up. It was like a very, very small event. There was supposed to be another event here where I live in this state, where I would get to have a small funeral with her, and the people that live in this state that knew her could then attend that one. That service has yet to take place, and honestly, it probably won't. My mother was cremated. My brother has her urn with her ashes. Our plan is to eventually bury her way up north in a family cemetery, where she would be next to her father. But there's some complications with other family members who don't want her in that cemetery because it's a family cemetery and they don't consider her as part of the family anymore. So I have not gotten to have a funeral for her yet, but I don't imagine that it would be anything significant. I've pretty much processed the feelings I have for her. My guilt has been replaced by hate. I know that's a very bad feeling to have, and nobody should ever hate anybody. And I never did hate her until, like I said, this recent therapy I just had unlocked a lot of memory and trauma that I had repressed, that I had forgotten about, that I had made excuses for, that I had just accepted. And he helped me to process it properly and give it the real feelings that it deserved, and take away the guilt that I felt, and just give me the realistic feelings that the whole situation deserved. And now I have, unfortunately, a hatred for my mother, as I also do for my stepfather, which I pretty much have always hated him. And I will have a video on him at some point too. But yeah, right now I'm processing the hate and the anger. And eventually, as I continue to heal and continue to go through the healing process and the therapy that I'm doing, which is really quite intense at times, I will move towards trying to forgive the people that have hurt me, including her. It will be an incredibly hard process to do. because there are many people that are responsible for the abuse that was done to me. And there are many people that are to blame for not stopping the abuse, even though they knew that things were going on. And I can get more into that later, but I just got a warning that my battery is about to die. So I hope I answered all of your questions, and I'm sorry if they weren't the answers that you were looking for, but they are honest answers. And I thank you for your reply and for asking me a question. I have no problem doing videos to answer people. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment and I will answer the best I can. I hope everybody takes care, has a beautiful rest of your evening, and stay safe out there. Till next time.